From the News Times, we are going to talk about all sorts of things. We're going to talk about Twitter and tweets and that stuff. We're going to talk about horror movies. But why don't we start? Oh, first of all, welcome to the show, Eugene.
Thanks, Dave.
I want to be cordial. I don't want to, just be rude and barrel into things here.
Please be rude.
Why don't we talk about a story that's in the News Times today about the Bethel detective or private investigator, I should say, and the decline of people using that type of service because of the economy. Right.
It's a story by Brian Coons. It's a column, actually, his Take on Life column. And apparently he got in contact with a private detective who says people aren't doing things like renting hotel rooms under assumed names or having affairs basically paid on the dime of their expense account, which I thought was fascinating. I mean, who knew? I guess the real question that I had yesterday, Brian Coons sits 2 cubicles away from me. I don't know how he got the idea for this story.
Kind of makes you wonder what's going on in the mind of that coworker an arm's length away there.
And it's, it's also a little. His wife literally sits right behind him, so I don't know. I'm assuming it's a press release, but Brian was very excited about this story.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, I guess if you're in a bad economy and money is tight, the last thing you're going to spend it on is, hiring some guy to chase around the spouse that you think might be doing something behind your back. Or if you are doing something behind somebody's back, maybe it's not a hotel and, dark restaurant time, as the column says. And maybe it's more, maybe in the car, I don't have to drive in or something like that.
I guess everybody's looking for ways to save. I canceled my Netflix subscription, and others are canceling their affairs.
That must have been hard for you.
Dave,
not getting the discs in the mail. I mean, what do you do on any given night if it's not there?
I didn't think you were going to make me uncomfortable. Yeah, it's hitting. It's definitely not. What I'm doing, actually, there's another reporter at the News Times, Melissa Bruin, and I've kind of hijacked her account. She's been letting me steal movies.
Oh, that's good.
Because she didn't show up for a dinner party I had, and so I guilt her for movies. Anything for the movies.
That's right. As long as you're getting your fill, that's all that really matters in the end. Now let's let the listeners in on what you're doing right now.
I'm not sure what I'm doing, actually.
You're holding a device and you're pointing it at me, and it's
yes.
very, very fancy looking, about a pack of cigarette size video camera.
I don't smoke, but yeah. This is a flip camera, flip video. It's actually called, and it records HD quality video. And I bought one for work-related purposes because we can use it in the field or at meetings. I just got it this week and I'm trying it out. And I figured after I was on last time, you sprung a quiz on me. I came in to promote my movie blogs, and you hit me up with a quiz and humiliated
for any future litigation
yes,
or something?
My attorney, Alan Barry, suggested I document this.
Well, I promise you will not be injured on this interview.
And I would like to say that it was the movie quiz on Watchmen, which was a colossal flop. So apparently no one knew about it.
Your performance in the quiz or the movie?
Well, both, I suppose. I did get the question, what's your favorite movie? I got that one. I think that was it.
Now, being a technology guy, and I am somewhat, I think you have more choice than I. What about this thing that happened with Twitter this week?
Well, Dave, of course, it was a teenager.
Teenager.
The root of it was a kid.
Darn kids.
I know. They're taking over the world. What happened was basically a virus went out through Twitter where someone would post a hyperlink saying go to this website, and Stalker Daily. It was don't go to that website, people, but it's called Stalker Daily. So if you were on Twitter, you would see this thing from one of your friends on Twitter endorsing this site, saying, oh, there's this great new Twitter. Click here to check it out. Once you clicked there, this virus took over your Twitter account and sent out the same message, and then you basically lost control. You had your Twitter account hijacked. And the thing about Twitter, if you're into it, it's constant information. So you could see the panic. You could literally see this thing building in real time as it spread from person to person. And you could sit there and watch, there's the guy from the Waterbury Republican just got jacked. That's the end of him. And your friends would be kind of cut off one by one. And it got to the point where, you start to get nervous. I didn't want to turn on my computer. I was,
And how am I going to communicate without Twitter? You mean I actually have to pick up the telephone and say, hey, Eugene, what's going on here? I got all these repeat messages.
Right, yeah. I'm not going to be able to post, my link to, whatever Jon Stewart talked about last night on The Daily Show, which I need to get out immediately.
You got to have it. Now, you are a serial tweeter. Is that fair to say? Because I've seen you on Facebook. I have not taken the Twitter step yet. People are bullying me into this, just like they did with Facebook. I finally got on that. Okay, I get it. I understand it. It's exciting. It's a great communication tool. But frankly, after the first 2 weeks of me being on Facebook, I kind of backed off a bit, and now just a couple of times, perhaps, I go and just see what's going on, usually when people send messages to me. What would you do if something, whatever the reason is, allowed you to not be able to communicate this way? To not be able to tweet for even a period of 5 hours?
I mean, I think I'll probably get a headache. I'm sure there'll be physical withdrawal of some type, of which I don't. I'm going to find out this weekend, actually, because I am going to be unable to access the internet or update my Twitter account this weekend. And I'm going to be at an event where I would like to do that, but circumstances are such that I may not. So you may never hear from me again. I don't know. Unplug.
You may as well be on an ice floe in the Arctic Ocean somewhere.
I'll send up smoke signals. I don't know what.
My guest is Eugene Driscoll from the News Times, and we'll talk more in segment number 2. You're going to, what is it, a horror convention?
It is the Chiller Convention, or Chiller Con.
Chiller
Con.
On
the lingo.
All right, good stuff. More with Eugene coming up in just a little bit. We have a sunny day, 70, going to be a beautiful spring day, and right now it's 8:43 in City Center Danbury at WLAD.